everyone, and welcome to episode 96 of the Video Games Ahoy Podcast.
Oh, mama!
I'm your host, Jonathan Radford, and today it's a Daf sandwich, as I'm joined by Daf Gape.
Hello there.
And Daf Weeks.
Hello there.
I am the Jonny Salami betwixt
no.
your Daf
Finally living up to your nickname.
I was wondering why we've been calling you Jonny Salami this whole time. Now I see
why you demanded that we would.
Yeah, that was the most important thing. Just the demand. The demand was there, only for me, no one else.
It's like, Johnny, why do you want us to call you Jonny Salami? And
Well,
I'll tell you in 2 years' time.
How are you gents doing? How's it going?
Very well, very smoothly.
Dav, you've got a lovely beard. It looks trimmed. Is it recently trimmed?
It is trimmed, yes. I went to a family wedding on the weekend and met about 80 people for the first time and thought, well, they need to see me at my best and a version of myself that I never am. So there I was, yeah.
That's weddings.
Do you use a product, a beard oil of some sort? Or do you just go...
Just these twos. Bam, bam, bam. Bosh.
Yeah,
nice.
It's a good look, man. If you are listening to this, then this is a good segue because you can check out how we look on YouTube, and I would encourage you to do it. One, because you get to see Daf Gape's beautiful beard, and then also you get to see a sweaty Daf Weeks who's just finished dancing.
Oh, lovely.
Something for the YouTubers.
Okay, now you've definitely you missed the thing. You've got Dav's beautiful beard and Daf Weeks' beautiful chest, and then just a bit of Jonny Salami, as we've already gone.
Yeah, if you want to see Jonny's Salami, check out YouTube.
That's a very different Twitch stream, man.
Yep. All right, well, yeah, that's pretty much it. If you want to watch us, come watch us on YouTube, and if you watch us on YouTube, then you can listen to us. About last week's episode, if you're wondering why, Jonny, have you called this episode 96 when there was no episode 95? It's because last week's episode sadly disintegrated
into the ether
as I was trying to upload it. So sadly, no episode 95, but we have an episode 96, which is this one, I guess.
Hell yeah!
You can go back and watch a snip. It's like there's like 25 minutes of it on Twitch. If you want to go back and watch that, we just came to the decision that like it was a 50-minute pod, and we had like 23 minutes content. So it was like it was maybe a bit. I can't remember how much. There was enough missing, and we were like, let's just move on. Let's move on with our lives. And move on we shall, because we're going to talk about news. And I think the best place to start is there was a state of play.
It
was good. Like, what?
Yeah, it was good. It was a lot of fun. We watched it, didn't we, Jonny?
It was genuinely like. Well, what I'll do is, because the way I've got all the news information isn't actually of the things in order. It's kind of like what I'll do is I'll go from one of the websites has ordered this by probably peak of the show. So I'll go from the bottom to the top, and then we'll get to the big stuff at the end. So I'll start with the Persona-inspired RPG Eternites. That was something. I thought it was
oh yeah, that thing.
I thought it was something else. That wasn't that.
Yeah. We're starting from the worst.
Yes, we'll go from least hyped into probably the biggest things. So that was something. I mean, that considering that it still looked fine. Just we didn't know what it was. We didn't know what it was. That's all.
Yep.
Then we had a Horizon Forbidden West update, which adds new game plus, outfit swaps, and skill respec, which is good. That's just a nice thing to add. Nice little thing to add. I probably won't play it again for a while, maybe not ever, but it's still good.
One thing I always appreciate in any game, especially when there's ones with like lots of gear and stuff, is transmogrification. So like you get new gear that's better than your old gear, but your old gear looked so cool. Well, now they've added it where you can make your new gear look like your old gear, but still have all the stats. So it's always nice.
Yeah, I like that. I like that too. I really
especially like all the trailers, right? Well, of any game, always have the character in their number one early costume, and like Cloud is always with a Buster Sword, and then like 2 hours in, you're like, this sword's better than your sword. You're like, right. So every piece of marketing you've ever shown me that shows me this guy with this sword is rubbish.
Yep.
But if you could have every sword look like the Buster Sword, yeah, living the dream.
Yeah, I always feel like, and you make a really good point, because Cyberpunk was really bad at it. Like in Cyberpunk, you ended up looking ridiculous because the most OP stuff was just all just different things. So you'd end up wearing like swimming goggles with like a bra and then some like boxer shorts, and you're just like, what's going on? Like I don't mind this. This is fine, but like
that's the Jonny Salami look, isn't it?
That's the Jonny Salami look. This. I mean, but still, I didn't expect it to be in Cyberpunk. Is all I'm gonna say. But yeah, you make a really good point. I quite like it when if you're just wearing an outfit as well. There comes a point where I'm just you just wear like nothing really is stopping any damage happening here. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
And you should just be able to wear you should. Yeah, I don't know, but it's nice. It was a nice little addition that they didn't really need to do, but they did, which is always good. Then we had so there's a lot of VR things, right? And I think the next couple of ones are going to be VR. So Seminal VR Survival. Oh, this is not me saying it. Seminal VR Survival: The Walking Dead: Saints and Sinners scores PSVR 2 sequel is coming. PSVR sequel. That's basically come out. I think it's next year. I think everything from PSVR 2 is going to come out next year. They didn't actually give a date for it, but I can't see it coming out this year. But that looked fine. Looked fine. No Man's Sky VR 2. That looked okay.
Yeah.
Daf Weeks. Me and Daf Gape were talking about this. We've been in awe of how much that game has improved, but we've never actually put time into it. Have you ever played No Man's Sky?
That seems like a game
I was gonna say it seems like a game you would potentially enjoy.
I'm not gonna lie, when they first announced it, I was like, tantalizing, and then I fell for all the things of people going, it's shit, it's crap, ignore it, and I was like, oh, fair enough. And then again, I hear people now going, oh, actually, they fixed it. It's pretty good. But I don't know, it's not been enough to want me to get back on board and do that.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
I don't know. It still looks interesting, but it's not that high on my priority list.
Yeah, that's the thing with legitimately the thing with hype trains and stuff. Like if you get in the start of it, if you get on at the start and it's good at the start, that will carry on all the way through. But if you do have a shit start, like Cyberpunk is a really good example in that. Like I think they sold 20 million units. They've sold 20 million units, which sounds amazing. But about 18 million of them were like the first 4 months, and then people just stopped buying it because they were like, "Well, this game has there's so much bad discourse around the game."
They haven't reported how many returns they got.
Exactly, but that's what I mean, and it's just like Cyberpunk now is a very different game to what it was like when it first came out because I played it recently, and it's fine, it's good, but it's not what the game was at the start. I don't want to get into Cyberpunk, but it's just like a bad launch can really screw you over, and. Yeah, but that looked fine, and maybe I'll try it if I get PSVR 2. I think I'm going to. Now we'll get into the other things. Resident Evil Village, PSVR 2 support. That's cool. I'm going to come on to Resident Evil later because there's obviously something else to talk about. So we'll leave Resident Evil there for now. Season. This is something Daf Gape was...
Why is this so soon in the roll call? This should be after Resident Evil 4. This is the best game in the whole thing.
I think what they were doing was just getting the audience let's get one of the big things out of the way. Let's get the biggest thing out of the way. Yeah, and then we can that's what I think that's what it is.
Because they're all waiting there skipping, trying to find season. The season's there. We can read the rest of the rubbish. Oh my gosh, this game looks beautiful.
Does it good?
Daf Weeks. This is Daf Weeks bait all over.
Oh. Yeah, I'm just watching it to the one side of my monitor right now, just to remind me of which one season was. I was like, oh, with that one.
It is.
It did look good.
It's very
Studio Ghibli-esque. I'm sure there are other Japanese animation studios that I don't know that would be a better.
I kind of get Professor Layton vibes.
Ooh, yes, especially like the older characters in Professor Layton have a very weird body shape.
Well, when people look weird, like me and Hoy basically, that person looks like they're from a Professor Layton.
Nice.
You see weirdos walking around on the street like, hello, I think he's got a clue.
Yes, but the actual animation style is just gorgeous, and I want to absorb that world, and I want to learn everything about it.
It's lovely, the wide angle lens, like third party thing, just get vistas.
It's a gorgeous trailer. It's so well cut as well. Like they know what they're doing, and the music's beautiful as well, Dav. if you get a chance.
It was one of my favorite things from that event. It was gorgeous, like absolutely gorgeous, and it's just nice to have games like that as well. You know, we get all these massive AAA games, all these like really big fucking explosions and shit. It's just nice to have a game where you're just riding around a bicycle, taking pictures of things.
Love that.
That's just it. Bondos 2K UK. The Walking Dead game comes out in September, I think. That's because it works with PSVR 1 as well. The other games don't. Thank you very much for clarifying that. There we are. So that is coming out September, but it is also playable on PSVR 1. Okay, let's move on to the next story, which was Roller Dome. That looked fine.
Rollerdrome.
Rollerdrome. Sorry, yeah, I misread that. Rollerdrome. Makers of Ollie Ollie World.
Yes, which is a game I'm so close to getting and diving into, but it looks great.
Yeah.
And this game looks mad. I don't know if I'm gonna play it. If it's free to play, I'm definitely gonna dive in.
Yeah.
But if it's not, it's that weird balance, isn't it? Like it's a cool looking game. It's you're on roller skates, you're shooting. It's like an arena shooter, but you're in a skate park on roller skates, and it looks absolutely bonkers.
Yep.
Tony Hawk / Apex.
Jet Set Radio.
Yeah. Tony Hawk's Pro Shooter essentially is what it is.
Oh, very good. Well done.
That's where it is. Thank you.
Bravo, Jonny.
Thank you.
Another Salami special there.
Johnny Salami strikes again.
Johnny's got 2 contenders for title of the episode. Very early.
I've written them both down. Don't worry.
Johnny Salami. Tony Hawk Pro Shooter. There we
go. All right. Let's move on to the next story, which was Stray. Oh, it looked so good. Rosie was asleep when we finished the stream. I went
woke her up, surely.
I woke her up to show. Of course I did. Yeah, I was just like, I came in and I was like, hey baby. She's like, oh, anything good? I was like, Stray, and she was like, oh, kitty. And I was just like, it literally was like that. It looks so good. I don't know. I'm genuinely really hyped for that. That is actually coming out.
That's chickpea bait.
That is coming out.
Chickpea is going to eat that up.
That is coming out in July. And if you have the PlayStation, I can't remember which tier it is. If you have PS Plus,
as long as it's not the base one, the extra or premium.
There we are.
Ones.
You can play it for free, I guess. If you have
free.
Free, yeah. Yeah, but you can play it if you have the PS Plus top tier or middle tier, which is.
And I'm right in thinking that's like a week after they release it in the UK and Europe.
Yeah, because
the extra and premium tiers.
Yeah, I think PS Plus is out in like 2 weeks. I think it's out like
22nd.
21st. Yeah, 21st. Yeah. I think it's like that, and then it comes out like a week after, 10 days, which is great. It looks really good.
So I just bought PS Plus for a year. If the step up to the next one is roughly the same price as buying Stray, then I'm just going to do it.
Yeah, you may as well.
And of course that's exactly what they want.
Yeah.
But like, I'm willing to buy into that and experience what this whole tier system is, because I think it's very messy, the whole PS Plus thing anyway. But I want to experience it and see for myself if it's a worthy investment. And Stray will be the first test.
Yep.
The invest test.
Yep, the invest test. Speaking of invest tests, Spider-Man's coming to PC because that's going to get a lot of investment, a lot of money coming into PlayStation's coffers.
They're going to get another 20 million easy off that.
Yep. I'm quite shocked. And it's really funny because there's loads of tweets from Insomniac from like 2017 and 2019. But like, this game will only ever be on PlayStation. And now it's like, no, it's not. It's really not. But I think that's just going to be a thing with PlayStation now. I think they'll release their big games and then maybe a year or two later they'll release it on PC and get some extra money. Just keep doing it. That's not a criticism. That's just fair enough. I know some people get very upset by that. Why should I buy a PlayStation if I can just play it on PC? It's like, well,
because you get it 2 years earlier.
Yeah, you get it 2 years earlier. I mean, that's the
business.
Whole thing. Yeah, exactly. And also, no one's stopping you from playing it on a PlayStation or a PC. Just do it if you want.
If you want to spend over £1,000 on a PC, you can do. If you have that money, you can do that.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think people have to remember sometimes this is a hobby.
Yeah.
You don't have
maybe
to
you.
So we'll come to the I'd say the four of the five big ones, because obviously we've already spoke about season. I guess 5 of 6 we spoke 6 as well, because Stray is also amazing.
Stray is the second best one shown. Yes, you're right.
So we'll come to we'll come to 3 till 6. That's what we've got Horizon Call of the Mountain, which is a PSVR 2 spectacle. Which looked interesting.
It did look interesting. It looked like a good-looking PS4 game, which is it's quite impressive for a VR game to look that good.
Yep.
What was it interesting? Was the actual the story? Did it grab you in any way? Did the character grab you in any way? It didn't grab me.
I was more interested in playing Resident Evil Village in PSVR 2 than I would be to play that. I'll be honest. But if that was to come in a package where you buy PSVR 2 and that's the game that comes with it, then that'll be perfect, because it seems like a little bit of a tech demo, if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah, I mean, would I rather an Astrobot game be included in the VR2 package?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yep. But that would definitely sway me a bit more if that game did become included. Yep. Like, right, here's what VR2 can do. I'm like, okay, show me, please.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it looked fine. It looked good, and I imagine it's going to be fun on the PSVR 2, but it's just nothing much else to say. Street Fighter 6, that's coming to PS5 in 2023. Single player campaign that looked fun. We've since had a load of leaks, which I don't think we'll talk about, just because the
whole roster,
literally the entire roster, and other things were just seemingly dropping out of thin air. It's just Capcom. Jeez, it's just not going well for them in that sense. But that game looks good. I was intrigued.
Funny. I saw a tweet today that they announced that it takes place after the Street Fighter 3 arc, and I'm like, who knows what that is?
I was gonna say.
I was like, arc.
Who knows? Yeah. It's like, I hope this takes place before Street Fighter 4, because everything that happens to Ryu in that one. Oh my gosh! But thank God he grows
about the character developments.
Thank God he grows a beard after 3 and shaves it off before Street Fighter 4. But can't wait to see Beard Ryu. See what he has to tackle, this bland character.
Yeah, I didn't know that. That's quite funny. That's pretty funny. We'll come to.
It looks cool. I hope it's free to play. I really hope it's free to play.
It did look cool, and I mean, I'd jump into it if it's free to play. I haven't played a Street Fighter game in a while, since 4, I don't think. I was always
5 was so lackluster.
I was always more of a Soul Calibur kind of guy. I'll be honest.
Dreamcast boy.
My cousin had a Dreamcast, and I played it on his Dreamcast for about a full 24-hour period in 24 hours, and it was amazing. I love that game. Final 2 games we saw was Final Fantasy 16 coming summer 2023. It looks gorgeous. We saw a little bit of combat, not massive amounts. It looks kind of like Final Fantasy 7 remake combat style, 15 maybe.
But this sort of summon versus summon stuff seemed interesting.
Yeah. And I've read up a little bit about it since, and apparently it's like each one of the main characters in the story has a summon that they can have growing up, and I don't know.
Right.
It seems
they're like Power Rangers.
Kind of, yeah.
Each one has their own Zord.
Yeah. Now, Yoshi P, again, is a producer, and I trust him. Because I've not played Final Fantasy 14, but again, we speak about gaming redemptions, and Final Fantasy 14 probably had the biggest gaming redemption of the last decade. So I trust him because good reports. That's what I'm going to say. But it looked. I mean, I was really excited. I said before we started that if we saw Final Fantasy 16, then I'd be really happy, and that would be a successful state of play for me. And I saw it, and I was happy. So, and finally, Resident Evil 4 remake that was announced. That was the first thing that was announced as well. And
I love how they started that trailer. They started the trailer with the release date.
Yep, that is ballsy.
That is ballsy.
And we're like, the release date. Okay, what's this going to be? And we were like, this must be Resi 4. And it was the font. They picked the font, and the font and the release date for anyone who is like desperate for that game. It's like, oh my god, this is it. And then slowly revealing the letters of Resident Evil 4.
Yeah,
like, oh my god.
I watched it back, and Resident Evil 4 is set in Spain, and there was a Spanish guitar playing in the intro, which I didn't pick up when we were watching it. And then, so I remember at the time, because we thought it was Last of Us. Well, I certainly did. I thought it was Last of Us.
Oh yeah, the font did look Last of Us.
For the first 5 seconds with the font, we didn't really see what the font. We just saw the font and not the words. And obviously it said Resident Evil. I was like, It was awesome. It was great. It was genuinely probably the best state of play I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, and it's my favorite Resident Evil game, so I'm looking forward to tackling that. I'm hoping that I can get it when it comes to Game Pass eventually, let's be honest. Because most of the rest of the games do. I'm pretty sure Village is maybe Game Pass.
It's not.
Maybe not yet.
It's not yet, but they just took 7 off, which makes me think that 8
8's on its way.
Yeah, which makes I got a story to tell about 7 later. I'll get onto that. But yeah, no, I was really excited. I'll be honest. I was playing Resident Evil 7 literally the day before they announced that, so I was definitely in hype mode for Resident Evil. So I'm really excited about that. Like, there's so many games that I was like, I'll get that. There's about 3 or 4. Happily, we'll buy, but hopefully they'll come to Game Pass or PS Plus. That'd be nice. All right, that's it. That's done for the state of play. Let's move on to the next story. Let me just come down. Where are we going to? Xbox will hold an Xbox Games Showcase extended stream following the Xbox and Bethesda showcase. It's been announced. According to a blog from Microsoft, the company will share new trailers, take deeper looks at the news from Xbox and Bethesda Game Showcase, and speak with some of your favorite game creators. The broadcast will be about 90 minutes in length, and I think it's a Tuesday, June the 14th, 6 p.m. in the UK, which is pretty good. Pretty good. I mean, yeah, seems pretty good.
So what are we expecting at these showcases?
Well, this is the thing, because their actual showcase is on the 12th, right?
On the Sunday, yeah.
So they've got a full 60-minute, 40 to 60-minute stream on the 12th, and they've got another 90-minute one on the Tuesday. So I wonder if it's going to be something like what Nintendo does, in that they have Nintendo Direct, and then they have the Treehouse, where they play games for 2 hours, and they basically just talk to the creation of the game, and then they switch it around and do stuff like that. I don't know, maybe not. That might not be how they do it, but it's really interesting, and it's kind of exciting. I like that Microsoft are trying to cultivate some hype, because they do need a little bit of hype, I'll be honest.
Yeah, especially with the Redfall and Starfield delays.
Yeah, with the delays,
And a couple of big Game Pass games they're hoping that were coming out this year, like Stalker 2, obviously being developed in Ukraine. And the situation over there has obviously delayed that, although it was nice to see they started development again the last couple of weeks. So that's cool. And 1 or 2 others, I think, have been delayed out of the year. So Game Pass is looking pretty sparse in 2022. And this is supposed to be the year of all the games that we didn't get last year coming out this year. Nintendo are hitting hard with a lot of big games. Obviously, Breath of the Wild 2 got delayed, but they have so many other games coming out that it's not a huge concern. PlayStation are a bit dry this year as well.
Yeah, they've God of War is the only thing, really.
And that's...
It's still not been confirmed, still not confirmed.
The longer it goes without hearing anything of it, the more and more the suspicion is getting delayed grows as well.
Mm-hmm.
So Microsoft really need to show what's coming out this year. With this. Obviously, they want to show some stuff that's not coming out this year, because they want to be building up hype. And I think we need to see something from Perfect Dark, because with all the sort of development hell that it sounds like it's going through, they need to restore some faith in that game and that studio. That is something to look forward to.
Mm-hmm.
I think we need to see some hint of what the next thing from the Gears franchise is.
Apparently, there's a rumor that Avowed might be shown. I mean, that's not confirmed, but it's just someone saying, they're speculating that someone from Obsidian was tweeting about it, and they were like, "Ooh, maybe we'll see something from Avowed." That'd be cool. I'd like to see Avowed. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, I'd love to see a little bit of Hellblade. I'm already ready for Hellblade. I don't need to see anymore, but I need to know when that game's coming out. And Fable. Maybe we see some Fable. Is that too wild?
I think Fable is. I have a sneaking suspicion Fable's a long while away. I mean, when did they show the game? It was what?
They showed that concept trailer
18 months ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right. Maybe 2 years ago.
Yeah, maybe 2 years ago. I just don't know how much they've done since then, because 2 years is a long time, but that's 2 years of pandemic.
Yeah, and I know at the time when that trailer was shown, they were still writing story. So if you haven't finished your story yet, you're nowhere near shipping a game,
I don't know,
because that needs to get locked in early. But some kind of trailer, at least a story trailer, something to be like, what is this game? Except for a fairy that gets eaten by a frog. What is this game?
I do worry about that game a little bit because that game series is so quintessentially British in like everything that it is. But it's so quirky and weird, and it just seems so specific. I worry that it's not going to have the same.
Well, it is being made primarily by a British studio, which gives me promise. But it's being made by the studio that brought us Forza Horizon, who they're not the funniest games.
No,
you know, and obviously they can bring in any writers they want.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I guess it's more for me like that specific team that originally made it. It's just really hard sometimes to like. You know, these amazingly talented teams who can make amazing games, like the Forza team, but can they do? I don't know. I love Fable 1 and 2 in particular. 3 was fine, but like 1 and 2, I love them so much, especially 2. But we're really excited. I'll be one thing I do think, and this is no, I have no basis for this whatsoever. I'm just throwing some words out here. I think there might be a Nintendo Direct this week. They tend to do it. Yeah, they tend to do it. There's no rumors or anything like that. They do a June one, and it's always the first 10 days. It's always kind of like in that first 10 days. 10 days to 2 weeks, and I don't know if they'll do it. Maybe this week, maybe next week, but I do think we'll get a Direct very soon.
Yeah, maybe they want. It would be very fun. Maybe they want wanting Summer Games Fest. And you know what? They don't care. They don't care. Never consider anything else that's going on in the industry at any point. They just don't care. They're like, Nintendo, everyone move out of my way.
But they do. Like that's the thing. They do. Yeah. So exactly. Like we'll move on to Pokemon because that is like the next story. But like that is literally what they do. They go, oh, here's coming Pokemon. Everything stops. Everything shuts down, and we'll talk about Pokemon because that's got a release date. Did that have a release date before?
I think it did, but it's got a new trailer.
Yeah, there was a new trailer. It's releasing on November 18th, 2022. The release date was confirmed, so that was only that was only just it says on here. The trailer showed new Pokemon, including the 2 new legendary Pokemon. And you can have up to 4 players explore an open world freely together, which is really cool. That's really interesting. And of all the Pokemon games, that would be the one that could draw me in. But I'll be honest, I don't know if I'll ever play another Pokemon game. But I'm really happy for people that love Pokemon because it looks fun.
Are you telling me that you're not looking forward to the idea of me, you, Dav, and Zach roaming the open world of a Pokemon game, catching such legendary Pokemon as Lechonk and Smoliv?
Only if we can play it by the rules of me and Daf Weeks when we play business Pokemon.
You could be like, me and Zach's managers.
There you go. Yeah. The Chonk is going in the mailroom.
Definitely. Yeah.
Those names actually, they pissed me off when I heard about them. Because I'm like, are you really like those names are going to age so poorly? Yeah. It's like, why are you writing memes into the names of these Pokemon that in theory are going to be in every game ever from now on?
Yep.
Like Lechonk. Like, we get how the internet works. We know that if you put a Pokemon, you call it Lechonk, there everyone's going to go wild. And of course they did.
Yeah.
And then Smoliv, like, you know that stupid writing of small, SMOL that is on the internet everywhere? Small. Oh my god, it's so small. What a small doggo. It's like they call it Smoliv, like a small olive. And it's like, it's the ugliest looking thing I've ever seen in my life, for a start. And it's just like, what? Why have you had to pander to this TikTok generation when you haven't done in a single game up to this point? There's been zero pandering to the internet. And yeah, I am salty about it, Chickpea. You're right. There's been zero pandering. Okay. They've made so much money.
This is an epic Dav rant, I'll be honest.
Can I just say that I think this rant here, this is the moment when millennials become boomers.
Yeah.
Yeah. And another thing.
If
they stop buying so many Starbucks, they could buy a house.
I just don't get the humor of the new generation.
Is this what we say is funny nowadays? Enjoy your doggos and snacks, but I'll have none of it.
VGA's very own Karen. ACG.
Yeah, I almost got the Karen hairdo. I asked for it, and they said they declined.
Oh, really funny.
And I asked to speak to the manager.
There we are. Speaking of bad decisions, Sonic Frontiers looks terrible. It looks
really.
It looks terrible. Like,
does it? It looks very weird, doesn't it? It looks weird because like it's such an open world, and obviously it's got to go fast.
Yeah.
And like so, in theory, the time between each interesting thing in the open world won't be that long because it's got to go fast. But just look at it; it just looks so dull.
It's so dull. Like, honestly, I think what's really sad is that like the idea of an open world Sonic game, but like in that sort of like Sonic universe type thing where like everything's a bit more colorful or a bit more interesting would have been so freaking cool, like with all the loops and turns and all these kinds of things. Like that would have been awesome. I'd been totally down for that. But when you saw it, it's just like it is just, and I hate saying this because I hate saying that like things are copying Breath of the Wild because who cares? But it does just look like they've looked at Breath of the Wild, even with the piano music playing along like that, just it looks like the Sonic team have just played Breath of the Wild and gone, let's just make a Sonic game, and it looks the worst. The most frustrating thing I can say, it just looks like someone's made it in like Unity and taken an end. Like it just looks like that, and
like Genshin Impact.
Yeah, it just looks like someone's been doing it over a weekend, and that's the saddest thing. I mean, hopefully they can make it better because I really want to like Sonic games again. I loved Sonic as a kid, like. I saw that, and what was really sad is that first trailer they dropped, which was only like 30 seconds. I was like, wow, this actually looks really cool. And then they showed like a 6-minute version, and I was like, oh no, this doesn't look great. Yeah. And
it's dull.
Dull is probably the best shout. And when you're like racing around like Sonic, the game shouldn't be dull. Mm-hmm. You know? But who knows? Yeah. Maybe they'll prove us all wrong, and it might, be the game of the year, and I will be very, very happy. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not expecting much. We'll come on to the final story, though. This is about GoldenEye to get Daf Weeks excited. So, basically, Xbox servers there are achievements for GoldenEye on Xbox servers that have been notifying people because devs keep unlocking them.
Right.
So people are getting notified of these achievements on the Xbox server because devs are unlocking these achievements in GoldenEye 007, which is leading a lot of people to believe that it's coming soon. And honestly, I think this could mean that if it does come, it has to come. It's Nintendo's game, basically. Nintendo have to agree to putting it out there. Do you think?
And then so do like MGM and all these different likenesses.
Well, apparently Nintendo was the main holdout. That it was up to them whether they wanted to do it specifically. Because I remember listening to a podcast about it, and I was like, oh, because I was just like, well, yeah, of course, there'll be so many things. Apparently, it's just Nintendo, but because it was basically Nintendo and Microsoft, they had to agree, and they never did. Nintendo never agreed with Microsoft, but apparently now they have, and it looks like it's going to potentially come to Game Pass and Nintendo Online, which is
cool.
That
is sweet.
Very, very cool. Completed it about last year, I think it was. Maybe a bit longer on the N64, and those controls are dog shit now. Like, do you
think Miyamoto is going to be at the Xbox showcase?
I mean, to announce it. Well, this is what makes me think that if it's going to get announced, it'll be announced in Nintendo Direct before it gets announced at the Xbox showcase.
Do you think Nintendo before Xbox? Bonboss has literally just asked that in the chat as well.
Oh, there we go. Do you think it announce it at Nintendo? I think Nintendo would announce it because it is a Nintendo classic. But I think that it would go to Microsoft as well, and I think Microsoft would announce it like at their event, which is genuine makes me think that there's going to be a Nintendo Direct on Thursday.
Maybe we just see a picture of Phil Spencer and Shigeru Miyamoto just like really lovely hugging and just like
embracing.
Yeah, and then you just hear dun dun.
Apparently, Shigeru Miyamoto hated GoldenEye. Like, he didn't like the people being killed.
Well, yeah.
I mean, it tracks. That totally tracks.
Yeah, tracks. He's such a sweet old man.
He's such a sweet man. Like, he came up with Pikmin for crying out loud. Although Pikmin's terrifying, isn't it? Don't they like die really easily?
Yeah.
Like the little ghosts float up to the heavens.
Yeah.
I'd like to quickly go back to the Sonic thing.
Yeah.
Have either of you seen Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers?
Yes.
The new film.
It's awesome.
I've not.
Oh my god, Daf Weeks, it's sensational.
It's awesome.
I hear good things.
It is
incredible.
It's genuinely good.
like, spoiler alert. Something that's in the. I won't spoil the story, but I will spoil something that's in the film. So everyone, turn off for 20 seconds if you don't want to hear it.
Literally 20 seconds.
Daf Weeks, sorry, I'm spoiling it for you. Ugly Sonic from the original Sonic the Hedgehog trailer is in the film, and he's a speaking role, and like has prominent placement in the film.
Yeah, it's not like a background moment. It's like full role.
Ugly Sonic.
His name is Ugly Sonic in the film.
Yeah, it's so good.
It's such a good film as well. I had to persuade Rosie to watch it because I saw the reviews and I saw people liking it, going, "This is really good." I was like, "Oh, let's watch it." She was like, "Oh, it's gonna be terrible," and she was like, "Well, that was awesome." It's genuinely really fun.
Sensational.
Yeah, it's really good.
So much. Oh, I need to rewatch it because there's so many things I know I've missed.
Yeah.
Like all these different. Welcome back, everyone. All these different like animation callbacks and Easter eggs and stuff in there, and it's just fantastic.
Yeah,
it's just a glorious film to behold.
Yep. No, agreed. And I loved Chippendale as a kid. I used to watch Chippendale Rescue Rangers as a kid, so when they played that song, I was like, yeah. Awesome. Right, so that's it for the news. We should talk about games. I'm gonna start with games we played because I've got a few things. I've got like loads of small things to say, and mainly 3 things to say. I'll start off with Resident Evil. So my story earlier was I started playing. So I've had Resident Evil 7 on Game Pass for about 2 months, and I haven't played it because I haven't had time to get around to it, but I've always wanted to play it. And I started playing it last week, and I was shitting my pants. And texted I texted Zach at one point saying this is what I deserve for you, because I was playing with headphones on, shitting my pants. I like Rosie was pissing herself because I was doing it every 5 minutes. She's like, but I was loving it, honestly. Like I get horror games way more than horror films. I think it's because you're like an active part of it. Anyway, I went back to play it and I realized that they'd taken Resident Evil off Game Pass, because it went offline on the 31st, and I'd been playing it until like the 3rd, and I realized it's because my Xbox wasn't connected to the internet. And as soon as I connected to the internet again, it was like, you can't play this game. I was like, that's a shame.
But isn't that interesting that it let you play the game?
Yeah, I think it's because it couldn't access because it couldn't access the servers. It was just like, well.
So what was the whole thing with the DRM thing? You were able to play Game Pass games while offline.
That's the thing I couldn't get over. I was like, how am I playing this? What's going on? It was really weird. So what I did instead was I bought Resident Evil 3, and I've been shitting myself playing that. I'll probably finish that by next week. But it's good. It's not as good as 2. 2 was phenomenal, but it is still really, really good. And it was the timing for Resident Evil 4 was perfect because I was going to play Resident Evil 7 anyway, and I was currently playing it. I saw the trailer for 4 and I was like, oh, I'm missing by 3. It was a tenner on or like 13 quid on Xbox sale, I think it was. So I was like, I'll just buy that. That's fine. 13 quid and having a whale of a time. The game I want to talk about very quickly, though, is a game I told Dav about, was Psychonauts 2. Finally completed it. So basically, Psychonauts 2 happened to be the 2 things happened with Psychonauts 2. First thing that happened was it was around a time when like loads of games were coming out, and I think that this always happens. It was not the Psychonauts 2 was like my second favorite game of the month, and the game I was really looking forward to came out, and I forgot about everything else. And that's what happened. But also there was that food level which I really hated, like genuinely hated that food level, and I got to that level and I was like, I genuinely didn't enjoy it. It was annoying. It was doing my head in. Collecting all the food and putting it in those things, and I failed it like twice because like I wasn't paying attention. I was like, this is annoying me, and then I put it down and didn't pick it back up. However, picked it back up last week, completed it, and it's awesome. Like from that point on, if I wish I just got past that level originally, but from that point on, like the Jack Black level was just.
Isn't it sensational?
It's just so good. And honestly,
masterful.
I was playing it and I was going, this is why I just love video games, because they can do the weirdest shit and it's fine and it's accepted. And it is the weirdest shit, but it's so good. It's so good. And the story was great. I really, really enjoyed the story. Stories with hindsight, like at the time, I would have given it like an 8 out of 10, but now I probably would have given it like a 9.5 out of 10. I thought it was probably one of the best games of last year, easily. And if you haven't played it, I'd recommend going playing it. That's kind of all I wanted to say. By next week, I'll finish Resident Evil 3, so I'll have more to say about that. But yeah, Psychonauts 2 is sensational. That's it.
Yeah. I'll go briefly next because I've not got much to talk about.
Cool.
But Destiny 2 had a new season drop 2 weeks ago and maybe 3 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Thoroughly enjoying it. Really got a lot of love for Destiny 2 and what they've done with that game. I have a lot of issues, but it's annoying when a game really requires you to Google what you're supposed to do next.
Yeah.
And that kind of is the issue when you do arrive years late to a live live service games as a service game. Yeah. So, but there's loads of content in there, and the DLC is always on sale. So I've managed to actually pick up all the expansions that have come out since the game came out for super cheap. And I've been delving in and enjoying it. And I've got a clan, so if anyone out there is a secret Destiny 2 player, let me know. You can join our clan. But yeah, no, I'm enjoying it and having a lot of fun. And they are bringing out weekly missions and stuff. That's really cool. And it's a lot of fun. It's just a lot of fun, just easy. And the problem, I said "and" about 25 times just then. Longest sentence in the world. But a game I haven't been playing is Halo Infinite. And that is because I tried to log in and it just loaded infinitely. And I thought, that's weird. So I restarted my Xbox, tried it again, same again. Thought, okay, deleted the game, reinstalled it, happened again.
Oh.
And I thought, so I just can't play Halo Infinite anymore. And I'm enjoying Destiny 2 a lot. And I'm like, well, I was already splitting myself between 2 shooters and I'd rather be playing a lot of other stuff along with 1 shooter. So Halo Infinite has gone to the wayside, which is, So I'll wait and see if they've got any if they have a story expansion, I'll try and hop back in. Yeah. But yeah, weird stuff.
What I'll do is I'll download it as well, see if I'm having any issues, because my new screen is 165 hertz, so I can play, and some Xbox games go up to 120 frames per second. Yeah. So I really want to play that. I looked through all the games to see if they're 120 frames per second, and that was. So I'll see if it's being shit on my end too. But yeah, man, that sucks. I will be honest, like I've seen a couple of devs that I follow online just being like they genuinely felt like Halo Infinite should have been probably postponed until this year, and I'm starting to agree a little bit. Yeah, but they delaying a game by 2 years is a death sentence. Yeah, 100%. And I know why they did it, but oh man. Yeah, that game needed more time. That game really needed more time. But yeah, it's a fundamentally good game, but it's still got a bunch of tech issues that they need to work through. Yeah, and even just like story issues. I just felt like the world was great. I really enjoyed and this is not to say I didn't enjoy the game. The game was like a solid 8.5. Like genuinely, I had loads of fun, but it could have been a 9. And that's what I'm trying to say, more than like the game was like a 3, was trash.
I thought the missions within the campaign that were sort of much more harking back to a traditional Halo campaign were really fun and really well designed and executed, and the characters they had for the most part were quite interesting. I thought the new Cortana was really good.
Yeah, really cool.
And I'm really looking forward to seeing her go forward. But the actual exploration of the world did leave quite a lot to be desired. For me, once you've rescued one bunch of Marines, you've rescued them all. They're all the same, really. And it's fundamentally enjoyable to shoot a gun in the Halo game, but maybe it just needs a bit more than that these days.
Yep.
Well, it needs to load for a start.
That'd be a good start. Daf Weeks, you been playing it? You playing any toilet games?
Toilet games.
You know what? I've not played any games for a while now. However, I have recently purchased a bundle on Steam, which I'm very excited about.
Ooh.
It's a selection of board games.
I love that.
Okay. So, and I'm not talking your shitty little Monopolies and Scrabbles, you know.
Get out of here, Cluedo.
Yeah, you can keep them. Now, I'm talking about a bunch of games, some of which I have in my collection of board games. For those who don't know, I'm a big board game fan. The one I'm particularly looking forward to is Scythe. Now, Scythe...
Is that the farming one?
It's not a farming one, although the aesthetics might make you think that it is.
Okay.
So Scythe was a real big hit when it came out, and people got really excited and like jumped to the tops of board game charts and stuff. So it's a game where it's like based on some fantasy art books in an alternative world where it's like there's a lot of pastoral kind of Turner-esque paintings of countryside and farmers, but also giant fighting mechs in the background. So this is a game where there's worker placement, there's resource management, and fighting with mechs.
Yep.
It's a really good board game, and you're building up and you get your victory points not just through beating your opponents, but also through meeting like different objectives. It's like first 10 victory points, which you achieve in different ways. It's really fun to play as a board game. I don't have my own copy because it's very expensive.
Yeah,
my friend already has one. So the fact that there's now a digital copy, brilliant.
Lovely.
Other game, like there seems to be a bit of a thing now for making like digital versions of video games and not just relying on Tabletop Simulator, which is what a lot of people do.
Yeah.
So there's Blood Bowl is up there. Small World, which is kind of like weird mini Risk, which is quite good.
Okay.
What else was on it? Terraforming Mars is quite a meaty worker placement game, which not going to be for everyone. Pandemic, the board game, was in that collection.
Classic.
Classic. You know, anyone
Pandemic's great.
started into like modern board gaming, you're going to have played that. So it's a nice little selection, and I'm looking forward to smashing my way through some of those.
Lovely. I actually bought a new board game, like a physical one called Cluster with a K.
Yes,
and
I know it. Yeah.
It's very simple and very lovely and very Moorish. And one person puts a circular string down on the table, and then everyone has these little weird geometric magnets, and you have to place them down one at a time. And if any magnets connect to your magnet or any other magnets on your turn, you have to take them back. And the key is to run out of magnets. The person with no magnets at the end wins. And it's just so enjoyable. And I'm a big board game fan as well, Dav. And even just something, it's so good to have something as simple as that still just be just as enjoyable as like a 4-hour game with like 2 hours of setup, you know? Like you just be like, right, Cluster, let's do it. And still have a lot of fun. It's really good.
Yeah, nice.
I like Yahtzee.
Get off.
Just want to say hey to Amy as well. Also the Full House. Hello. Welcome to chat. Saying Scythe is amazing. So you got some fans. Fans of Daf Weeks. You got some fans about that board game. Anything else, Daf Weeks? Have you played? Dav, is there any game you're looking forward to? Are you going to get Mario Strikers? Is what I'm asking. Because it's out this week. It's out on Friday.
I watched a little bit of gameplay, and you know what? It looks better than Mario Golf. So
it does.
Give it a go.
I've had a lot of people play it already. Have said it's the best Mario sports game so far on the Switch. On the Switch. So yeah, really can't wait. I think it's gonna be awesome. All right, cool. Well, I think that's it then. I think that's us. That's a good solid 50 minutes of podding.
Nice.
Thanks to everyone in chat. This was a good and successful episode, so this will go out tonight. I promise. Dav, did you want to rate anyone before we leave?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Do the old rating. Whilst you're doing that, Daf Weeks will give us a sea shanty to close us out.
Row, row, row your podcast down the internet waves. Row it down the internet waves. The podcast sees ahead.
We should really have a shanty.
With a ho, ho.
Because we are Video Games Ahoy. We should have a sea shanty. That was beautiful though, Daf Weeks. ACP, can you please clip that? I want to see that again. Yeah. Okay. Bye everyone. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Tatty, bye.